In the top stories, police investigate domestic shooting incident, Team St. Kitts wins first debate in LIDC debate series, and Ministry of Health and PAHO to launch vaccine hesitancy campaign. We'll be back with the details after the break.
In cricket, there are a few essentials. A bat, a pitch, a ball, some fielders, and plenty of refreshments. Enjoy the cricket with Angostura Chill. Angostura Chill, the official refreshment partner of the Hero CPL T20.
It's the Quartz Optical Annual Frame Event. Get up to 85% off on selected frames. Book your appointment at www.quartzoptical.com. Get that frame today with no cash from 3 to 24-month credit plans. You don't want to miss it. The Annual Frame Event. Up to 85% off. Only at Quartz Optical. See in store for details. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Mervan Thompson. The police are investigating a shooting incident in which a woman was shot and injured. The incident occurred on Saturday morning in Newtown and involved Shamikwa Cannoneer. According to a police report, it occurred at the home of 40-year-old Derek Williams of Herbert Street, who said that he left his firearm on the bed and left the room. Sometime after, he heard the weapon fire. He went into the room and found 26-year-old Cannoneer with a gunshot wound to her chest. He then transported her to the JNF General Hospital, where she is said to be warded in stable condition. Williams is in police custody assisting with investigations. Personnel from the forensic department processed the scene and collected items of evidential value. Persons with information are asked to contact the Violent Crime Unit at 467-1888-662-3468 or the Crime Hotline at 707, where information can be given anonymously. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. The Ministry of Health, with the support of the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, is in the process of developing a communication campaign focused on vaccine hesitancy, according to the Ministry of Health. To facilitate this process, a series of discussion groups with various stakeholders in St. Kitts and Nevis is being planned to garner feedback on the matter. Areas to be discussed include reactions toward the COVID-19 vaccine, reactions towards routine immunization programs such as HPV, malaria, polio, and tuberculosis, and what are the main sources for information on vaccination and general health. The Ministry of Health thereby invites faith-based organizations or associations, sporting groups, and civil society organizations or NGOs on Thursday, March 9th at 2 p.m. at the NEMA conference room. Persons living with chronic diseases, parents of children in grade 6, parents of children between the ages of 12 to 17, persons desirous of traveling to countries overseas where COVID vaccination is an entry requirement, migrant communities, Jamaica, Guyana, Santo Domingo, and youth leaders on Thursday, March 9th, this time at 6 p.m. at the Warner Park Cricket Media Room, and care providers in homes for the elderly, both public and private, nurses and doctors, will meet on Friday, 10th March at 10 a.m. at the NEMA conference room. Team St. Kitts emerged the winner of their first debate in the 51st edition of the Leeward Islands debating competition being held in Antigua and Barbuda this weekend. Saturday's debate at the John E. Lucey Finance and Conference Center saw Team St. Kitts leader Shadicia Green and seconder Jazara Green beating host team Antigua when they opposed the moot, efforts to reverse climate change are doomed to fail. Also on that night, teams Anguilla and St. Martin debated the moot. Caribbean countries should prescribe that 1/3 of parliamentary representatives must be female. Other members of the team are Kalia Butler, Denise Wallins, Hadassah Coffey, and Jonathan Bass. Team St. Kitts was congratulated by nationals at home, as well as Miss JC's Queen National, Nikira Nichols, who was in attendance. Coming up, we'll have another look at some of the stories from the past week. Stay tuned.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA specials from February 23rd to March 8th. Now our Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Baking Chips, just $10.99. Duncan Hines Fudge Brownies, $5.99. Kellogg's Pastries, just $10.99. Essential Everyday Apple Sauces, just $11.99 each. Sunny Delights, Tangy and Smooth, $4.99. Eggo Waffles, $13.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. Pringles chips are just $8.49. Essential Everyday Croutons, $5.99. Essential Everyday Cornflakes, $8.99. Colgate Toothpaste, $8.99. Extra Liquid Detergent, $22.99. And Dial Soap is just $9.99. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
In news from the past week, Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew hosted the media for a second in the series of special interviews on key matters of national importance on Thursday. Here's that report.
Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew hosted the media for the second in the series of special interviews on key matters of national importance on Thursday. Questions asked and answered ranged in topic, including health, the poverty alleviation program, inter-Caribbean travel, national security, and the Prime Minister's most recent meeting with CARICOM leaders in the Bahamas. In the area of health, the Prime Minister announced plans for the construction of a new hospital, which he said is not a choice but a necessity. He said the plan is to build a technologically driven climate-smart hospital.
With this new hospital, we'll be able to serve our people much better. We'll make sure that it is modernized. And we want this hospital to be accredited as well. With the changes in the climate, and all of us are aware of climate changes, we are expecting stronger hurricanes. We are expecting more dry seasons. We are expecting also the insidious changes that will take place. So therefore, the hospital that we have, based on what is taking place with the climate, it is not in good state to withstand that. So this is not even a choice that we have in the matter.
He said the decision for the new hospital comes as the scope of work for the upgrades required at the JNF General Hospital would cost approximately the same amount as a new hospital. The Prime Minister noted that the government already has a reliable source of funding available for the hospital that is expected to cost over $23 million.
We have an estimation of a cost of it with everything. One of the costs that were given to us was $23 million to build the hospital without the equipment, and with the equipment could be another 10 to 15 million US dollars. We are looking at various sources of funding. One of them, of course, is a concessionary loan, which we are considering, very low interest, with a grace period of about 3 to 5 years, and the payment plan is very, very affordable. That is one of the things that we are looking at this point in time. We'll seek donations also to help us to do that. So we have already we have a good source of funding already of about $50 million US, which is a good concessionary loan, which gives us that period of time in which we can pay it back.
Prime Minister Drew also disclosed a possible site for the new hospital with approximately 15 acres of available land.
That land is virgin land, nothing has been built on it before, and where the land is most appropriate is right in front of the medical school, nursing school. You have Ross University. So the plan is to create what you call a healthcare hub right there, and we will build a research lab also. So when you get into that space, you're in a healthcare hub.
The Prime Minister said the hope is that the new hospital will also be used to serve neighboring islands, thereby attracting new persons to St. Kitts and Nevis.
From preschools to primary schools to health centers, ongoing projects indicate the Federation is becoming more receptive to water conservation. Following the installations of several water tanks by the CARICOM Climate Change Center, CCCC, and funded by the European Union, representatives from the 5 Cs visited the areas where the water tanks have been mounted.
From the preschools to primary schools to health centers, ongoing projects indicate the Federation is becoming more receptive to water conservation. Following the installations of several water tanks by the CARICOM Climate Change Center and funded by the European Union, representatives from the CARICOM Climate Change Center visited the areas where water tanks have been mounted as part of a 2-day climate change reporting workshop for journalists that began on Wednesday. 4 sites in St. Kitts were visited: Tucker Clark and Sandy Point Primary Schools, Challengers Daycare, and Molyneux Health Center. Devon Harris, principal of the Tucker Clark Primary School, spoke of the impact the initiative has had on the students, as it is the largest primary school.
I think this initiative was a great initiative, something that we always wanted, and we are really thankful that the project was able to get off the ground. And it has benefited us greatly, because in the past we would have lost water supply a few times, and with this system now in place, we are still able to function as a school with it being here. And it puts what we have here to good use, and we're really thankful for the initiative. One of the things that we are doing at this school is we are encouraging recycling and saving energy, and I think this also helps and makes a great impact in the lives of the children. One of the things that I like as well is that the grade 6 students were able to use this exercise and write an expository piece on it, and based on research, because the gentleman who installed the water, he came and spoke to them about it, the tanks, he came and spoke to them about it, and they were able to use it and put it, make a practical aspect of it.
Meanwhile, Erwin Lawrence, deputy principal at the Sandy Point High School, spoke of the realities of the school.
From these storage tanks, this will have benefited greatly in that, one, we have a readily supply of water in the absence of the main water supply. Therefore, children, as a result, they're able to use the bathrooms. They're able to, in terms of hygiene, they're able to wash their hands after they using the bathrooms. The children having their school meals, the cleaners, the dishwashers are able to actually wash the dishes.
At the Challengers Daycare Center, it was revealed that the water tanks have not yet been connected to the building. However, the daycare's supervisor, Katia Francis, says she's anxiously anticipating it.
I was happy when I was contacted to say that that the Challengers Daycare Center would be given the tanks. Now, we don't usually be affected by water shortage, but we know that water is one of the most beneficial, most important commodity. And we know that because of climate change, it's anticipated that at some point in time, there won't be drought, but there will be shortage of water. And so if we have these tanks storing water for us, then we know we have a backup plan. And so sometimes the water gets dirty as well. And so these tanks, they can come in as our secondary source of water supply.
At the Molyneux Health Center, a different system is employed to assist with water shortages there. Sylvester Bell, health planner in the Ministry of Health, explained.
The pipes are in the ground. This one in particular is gravity fed. Some of the other health centers, they have the pumps as similar to what you see at Newtown Primary School this morning. So Depending on the topography and the location, a few of the systems are gravity fed. This is one of the gravity fed ones, so it's highly elevated. The lines have been connected to the building already, and they went under the ground into the building. They have a direct connection from the government mains to the tank, and then it feeds into the building. So it remains full all the time, and the government system is, and we anticipate this can run the facility for up to 3 days minimum in case of an emergency event.
The representatives of the CARICOM Climate Change Center were pleased with the acceptance of the messaging towards climate change and the implementation of the water shortage tanks. Each institution will aim to scale up their water shortage facilities by installing solar panels to run electrical systems, adding more catchments, and separating potable and grey water to use both types properly.
A National Day of Prayer was held this week. Here's that report.
On Tuesday, St. Kitts and Nevis observed the 2023 National Day of Prayer with various events focusing on praise and worship. The activities were held under the theme, Marrying Prayer and Praise as we declare and proclaim His Lordship over our Federation. Among scheduled events was an all-day gathering at the Rivers of Living Water Christian Center. All churches were invited to be part of the main service, where pastors were given an hour each for prayer, praise, and the word. Services began at 8 a.m. and were scheduled to finish at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, around Bastia, prayer stations were set up with church leaders given half-hour slots to minister to the public. National DJs were also brought on board to provide gospel music for the event. The National Day of Prayer, Praise, Worship, and the Word also included church representatives visiting each school to pray at morning devotions and prayers on specific topics on radio stations throughout the day.
When we come back, CWI inks mobile game deal and Greek Prime Minister asks for